Hello, and welcome to Behind the Headset, where we interview people in the VR sphere. It goes, and today we are graced with the presence of the foxy boy of VR. It's the VR realm, also known as Paul. How are we doing, Paul?
I'm good. My standard answer. I can't complain.
That's fine. Not complaining is a good thing.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy with that. So what we're going to do today, Paul, is we're going to try and get to know you a bit more. I will say this off the bat. If there are any questions that I ask that you are not comfortable answering, just say it's not a problem. I don't think that's going to happen, and it hasn't yet, but I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable with any of this, okay?
Yep.
Cool. So let's start then. So, first question for you. Tell me something about you that I don't know.
I'd prefer not to answer that one. I'm only joking.
And we're off.
Trying to think. Do you know that I'm allergic to wasps?
I did not know you're allergic to wasps. Pretty severe?
Yeah. Not to the level of I'm worried. I'd be worried if I got stung in the neck, but that's about it.
I mean, to be fair, I'd be worried if I got stung in the neck. So.
I actually found out when I was younger because I kicked a can walking down the street into a bush and didn't know there was a wasp nest in there. And one flew out and stung me just below my eye, and now I've lost control of the muscle. I can close my eyes, but I can't like wink with that side of my eye, with that eye.
Oh,
because I've lost like some muscle control in it.
Oh wow, that must have been quite traumatic as a child.
It was the day before we were going away on holiday as well.
Oh no! Did you make it to get on holiday or not?
Yeah, we made it get on holiday, but on holiday I had like a big swollen face that was bruised and stuff.
your big moon head while you were abroad.
Yeah. Look back and laugh at it.
I mean, yeah, I suppose at the time though that must be horrible. I'm quite lucky. And touch wood, I've never been stung by an insect at all, so I'm quite fortunate in that effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're allergic. Interesting. Okay. When you were young, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to work in a crisp factory because my next door neighbour's dad did, and he got free crisps, and that was like my goal to work in a crisp factory.
That's amazing. That is quite possibly the best answer I've had so far. I love that because I wanted free crisps.
A day when they're like, oh, tell us what you want to do when you're older in school. Now everyone was like, oh, this is a pilot, blah blah, and I was like, working in a crisp factory because I want free crisps.
I mean, when I was young, I worked on a strawberry farm doing fruit picking, and they're kind of like, you can eat as many as you want while you're doing the job. It's not a problem. And literally the second day, you never want to taste a strawberry again. So it's like you've just gorged yourself. But do you think you would get bored of the crisps at some point, or would that never happen?
I probably would if I was working there, because he just bring black bags home with crisps like every couple of weeks, and then just.
Cool. No, that's really good. I like that. So, I'm hoping it's not the wasp, but it might be crisps. The next question is, what is your most treasured memory from your childhood?
So I had two grandparents, clearly, because my dad had, and everyone always remembers my dad's mum being a very nasty woman. Like, I was too young. She had died before I got old enough to understand. But I've always got a memory of ripping my jeans out of her house and sewing them up with a Tom and Jerry patch. And that always just sticks in my head, like how lovely that was. And that's like a childhood memory that always sticks in my head.
Yeah,
I didn't know I was a woman because I wasn't old enough to fully understand. Everyone's like, oh, she was an awful woman. Like, even my dad's like, she's an awful woman. And I was like, I've only got this one really good memory of her. Like, that sticks in my head. Like,
that's strange because again, that comes down to like people's perceptions of individuals, and everyone has a different perception of everyone depending on the experience you've had with them, I suppose. Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, go on.
That and torturing my dad to build me my pirate Lego ship when I was a kid on Christmas Day, and he spent about 4 hours building this Lego ship with me.
Oh, nice.
He just wanted to go and chill and have a sleep after tea, after a nice big Christmas dinner, and I was like, no, come and build my Lego.
That was the big gift that year, was the pirate ship from Lego. Yeah. So my uncle used to buy me every single year for Christmas an Airfix kit, and every single year my dad would build the Airfix kit because I was too young to do them, or I would do it wrong and Dad would not be happy with that, so he would do it. So yeah, it's good. Okay, you're going to be throwing a dinner party, and you can invite any 3 people you want to this dinner party. They can be alive, they can be dead. They're alive at the dinner party, but they can be dead right now. And they can be real or they can be fictional. Who are you inviting to this dinner party?
It's going to sound like a weird mix, probably, but I'd put Marilyn Manson up there because he was like someone I was like really into through my teenage years. From being about 12 to in my 20s, he was like my top musician.
Okay.
Tyler Creator, because he's just himself. He's an individual. He just does what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Third one, probably Marilyn Monroe, just for some eye candy.
I mean, you've actually picked an actual person for some eye candy. One previous guest picked Lola Bunny from Space Jam, so at least you're staying within the species, which I think is quite good. So good. Okay, do you think that the 3 of those would be interesting together? Do you think they'd have something in common to talk about, or not, or just show business, really? I suppose.
Yeah, probably sure. I don't know whether Marilyn Manson and Tyler Creator, mate, because they're both weird people. They're both themselves. They're both reinventing themselves all the time. They might find some weird common ground to talk about.
It's a very interesting set of characters to have together. And Marilyn Monroe, I just imagine her sitting at the end of the table going, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
And how did I get here? Okay, so what would you like to change about yourself?
Maybe be a bit less laid back. I think I'm too laid back.
You think it's too laid back?
Yeah, like I don't get bothered by any. Like I don't get bothered by much. When I do get I think the problem is I'm not laid back all the way through until it gets to a point, and I'm like, there's no middle ground, if you know what I mean. There's not like, yeah, okay. It's like
right. So do you think people can mistake your laid backness for like apathy?
Yeah.
And because I get that. It's like I try not to get stressed. I used to get very stressed about stuff, and I just generally these days don't at all. And I do find it's like it's not that you don't care. It's just like you're not going to stress about it.
Yeah.
But do you feel so? It's interesting what you just said. But at the last minute, you start to ramp up again. Is that?
Yeah, so I don't sort of like build up, so it's like laid back to just straight on. That's enough. Like you know, like I don't have like a build up. It's like from either one extreme or the other extreme, and I wish I
just flip a switch.
I wish I just had that bit of a bit of a build up.
Right. That's interesting. I didn't know that at all. That's good. How do you deal with criticism?
Shrug my shoulders normally. If you don't like me, you don't like me. If you don't like something I do, you don't like something I do. I'm not going to change. So.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like being a content creator. There's probably a fair amount of criticism, and I use that word loosely there because some of it is just idiots saying stupid things because they just, that's got nothing better to do.
That's what they want, They want a response, and I think you give them a response, they've got what they want, so...
Yeah, I would agree with that. But what if it's like just like an actual constructive criticism that someone has said? Do you take note of that? Do you internalize it at all, or do you just,
I'll take if it's like, say how I'm working, manager says, you could maybe do this a bit better. Like I'd take that on board and try and improve that.
Yeah.
Type of thing, but it's just general. Someone idiot wants to try and wind me up or say anything just on there just to try and cause trouble. I just like
No, that's a very healthy attitude to take with those sorts of people, I think. Is don't engage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't feed the trolls. So, what type of routine do you follow daily, if any type of routine at all?
Not really. Get up, shower, log in for work, log out of work.
No breakfast?
No, I don't do breakfast. No, I'm
Okay.
not a breakfast person. Sometimes I do, but only if I'm like, I think if I've eaten late on the night before, I'm hungry in the morning. For, even though you'd think it'd be different, like if you're early like in the afternoon, you'd be hungry in the morning. If I eat late, I'm hungry in the morning, and I normally like just have a bowl of muesli or something, and then. But normally I just skip breakfast, dinner, tea, play VR, or play games, or write stuff, depending on what I'm in the mood to do after work.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have a routine in my life. I go drinking every Saturday.
I mean, it's a routine, if that's what you do. So, what's your drink of choice?
Pinot Grigio, like a white wine.
See, I had you more as like a real ale man, but you like your white wine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to be an ale man.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went out one night and my friends were like, "Do you want to share a bottle of wine?" I was like, "I don't." Okay, if you don't want to buy, they wanted to buy wine.
Yeah.
But they would a bottle of wine, but then you wouldn't drink it because the wine in a bottle's a lot cheaper than buying them in like glasses.
Sure.
I was like, "Oh yeah, fine, I'll go out for you." And after that, I just started drinking wine because I was like, "Oh, this is actually all right."
That's good. Well, we know what to get you for Christmas now. Then that's really good. If that's probably I'm wondering if that's the northerner, and I'm thinking no, they don't drink stuff like that, and it's a hideous stereotype that I'm thinking of.
There's a lot of winos on the street. There's a lot of winos on the street.
Well, yes, but that
like
I wouldn't.
Lambrini. That's like
I wouldn't class that as wine. It's like buckburst or something like that.
Yeah.
If you can set light to it, I don't class it as wine. That's what I would say. Okay. Who would you say has inspired you the most?
Inspired me the most? To be honest, it might sound soppy and stuff, but I think my mum.
Oh, that's nice though.
She's got.
What about? Yeah, go on.
She's got MS, which is really bad now. But she
wow.
worked. She worked till the day she could. Like she was struggling, but she still worked and sort of builds like a work mentality. Like see her do it. Why? So like when I left college, I had to go on job seekers but it was only for a few weeks because I was like seeing my mum work when she had all these issues. I thought, well, why aren't I getting a job? So it sort of like inspires you and pushes you, and no, like don't let things put you down. She's a very positive person. So,
what did she do?
As she worked for a loan company.
Oh, okay.
Like, but driving around collecting money basically for like loans.
So your mum was a loan shark as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's So I mean, growing up with your mum when she must have had MS, that must have been quite tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I'm again, touch wood. Unfortunately, both my parents are still relatively healthy. Obviously, age is a thing, but I've not had to deal with anything like that, and I wouldn't dream of knowing what it would be like. I just couldn't get my head around it. So yeah, but no, the fact that you could see how much she pushed through to get everything done, and that's kind of inspired you. I think that's really sweet. Yeah, I really like that. Okay, that's section one. That's getting to know you. So okay, so I think we've learned a few things about you there that we didn't know before. The white wine one really does surprise me. So the second section we're going to talk about is good about VR and gaming, because that's what we all do, and that's another reason why I've picked these people. So, what was your first experience in gaming?
My dad's Commodore 64. I always remember, was it the Commodore? I can't remember what it was, but we played Rambo, and that's all I can remember doing, playing Rambo.
Oh, I don't remember Rambo on the C64. What was that like?
God, I can't remember.
Was it like an Operation Wolf type thing? Or?
Yeah, that type of thing, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what it might have been on the Amiga. It might be on one of them, Amiga or Commodore.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember.
Okay. Fair enough. So, what was your first experience in VR?
It was Thumper. I bought one. I bought a PlayStation VR
Mm-hmm.
on the day it came out, just with 4 more. Before I was in VR, I obviously used to run a flat screen, like a standard gaming website, and I just put on there when they announced that the E3 when they announced it, I put like it was the thing I was least interested in from the. I was just like, one, I didn't PC game, so I only had consoles. I was like, if it doesn't take off, Sony will just bin it, and then it's wasted again. I wasted money on the Move camera, and man, I was going to say and Move controllers, but they actually came in useful after.
But same. I still have mine.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I think it was on the day it was coming out. I was like, I just had sat in work, 4 more kicked in. And I was like, anywhere local got one, and local Argos had one. So I was like, right, reserve it. I'll pick it up after work.
Mm-hmm.
And then got home, set it up, played Thumper, and I was like, that hooked that sold it to me straight away. It's a bit simple, but just they've been built around you. I was like, oh my god, this is.
So you'd not tried it at like a game show or anything. First of all, you just bought it out of FOMO.
Yeah.
Wow. That's quite risky, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of these 4 more risks have never worked out. I brought a Kinect because of 4 more. I brought a HD DVD drive. The HD DVD drive.
Yeah, that was a choice they made that didn't pay off, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man, I remember that. It was HD DVD, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was Blu-ray instead. You do wonder why they picked that. What else? Okay, I'm intrigued now. Then, what else FOMO-wise have you bought that has not worked out?
A Pimax.
To be fair, the Pimax works.
Yeah, but I bought it before it was actually well constructed, and
Right.
as announced that man had turned up on the forum, and someone from the Pimax community told me to put electrician tape around all the joints so it doesn't crack.
I was just thinking, I do remember you saying that you had to tape it together.
Yeah, around the joints, yeah.
And that's quite upsetting when you've paid that amount of money for something.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So what's your daily driver at the minute then? Is it like the Quest or
DPVR for PC?
Okay. Yeah, you're quite big into them, aren't you? You quite like their headsets. I've used one of their headsets, but I think there was a VR arcade owned by Remarcus. He had some, but I've not used them in any other way, shape, or form yet. I'll have to see if I can try some more.
Yeah, they're also going to release a more enthusiast-based one where it's going to be more expensive because obviously they've tried to make a cheap DisplayPort headset. That's the idea of them. So try and make a DisplayPort headset that's the cheapest you can get.
So I've always used DisplayPort headsets such as the Index more than anything else. But more recently, I've been using the PlayStation VR 2 on the PC to the point where it's now my daily driver on PC. And I'm quite stunned that it's done that.
I think mine would have been, but because I use it with the PlayStation 5 as well, you have to pair and unpair the controls all the time. I was like, nah.
So since moving mine over, I've never moved the controllers back. Because my PlayStation 5 is essentially a GT7 machine, so I don't need the controllers. I just plug in the headset and I can do it. But again, someone else mentioned if they sold the controllers separately, I'd probably buy a set.
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah. I do think Sony are missing a trick with a lot of that stuff.
Especially now they're starting to come out with warranty and stuff, so people are going to have to pay to send them back to Sony. Why not just sell them?
Or buy an entire new headset with everything, which just seems silly.
Yeah.
Strange. So, what has been your favourite experience in VR?
Probably Resi 7, although it was played with a controller.
Mm-hmm.
Just that was like that was the first game to actually, to me, like completely blow my mind. Like how good it looked and how well it played. Obviously now you don't want to play with controllers, but back then
Yeah.
that was the option.
Yeah. That's intriguing because that game was not specifically built for VR, and yet it's
Yeah.
the one that you say is your favourite. That's odd, or not odd, but just different. Not the answer I was expecting.
Yeah.
Okay, so what has been your worst experience in VR?
Game wise, Micro Machines on the Quest.
Okay, I've not played that one.
That like built my hopes up so much for getting the Micro Machines in VR.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically you were stuck to the track. You didn't control the car. You controlled it by the pressure you're using on the triggers. So it wasn't actually like a racer against people and stuff. It was just like a Hot Wheels game more than anything. It's like it was a set track and you have to get your pressure right on the trigger, or else it would like go off the edge and stuff. It was like Scalextrics.
Oh, yeah, oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that's a
Meant to be
weird
Micro
choice.
Machines. Yeah.
I mean, if it was a Scalextrics game, then fair enough. But so you didn't even steer the cars. You just
you just have to get the pressure right as you come to corners and stuff on the trigger, like release the pressure and stuff.
I can see how that would be incredibly disappointing.
I went in so excited for it because I was like, yes, Micro Machines in VR. And then,
See, this is the hype thing, isn't it? This is, people get hyped for stuff and then feel drastically let down. I mean, we've had a few, again, two in particular in recent times that have been mentioned on here before is Hitman and Firewall.
Yeah.
Those are the two biggest disappointments so far I think we've had. But yeah,
I got about 54 minutes in the new Firewall from launch day, and then I've never went back to it. I just deleted it afterwards. I was like, I'm not going back to that.
I was just so disappointed because of how much I loved the first one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not good. Not good at all. Okay. So when you're trying a new game, whether it be a VR game or a flat game, what instantly turns you on or off that particular game?
For VR, it's if it's not got an option for smooth turning. I hate snap turning. That instantly, I know it's there for a reason, but when you don't offer smooth, I'm just like, you can't do that. It makes me feel motion sick with snap turn.
Same.
So
I'm exactly the same with that.
But it makes me like feel a bit trying to think of what makes me go, yeah, this is. I think it's running smoothly is like it needs to run smooth as well, but that would more be off than on. Like
it's if it's optimized well.
Yeah.
And you can spot the difference pretty quickly the minute you start something. Yeah.
I think it's just got to grab me for like a turn on it. I think I'll enjoy a game if it's grabbed me within the first hour. I know I'm gonna like love that game. Never mind what like type it is.
Yeah. No, I get that. I do think some games change after like an hour or so, and it's kind of like, this is not what I was expecting. But I think if the primary gameplay loop is something that hooks you in, and the story, for me, story tends to be a big thing.
Stories, man, yeah. I prefer a story game over multiplayer. A good story. Yeah. We don't get many of them, unfortunately.
No, I think VR's still in kind of like its arcade era, I think, where we're not getting sort of long form stories, we're getting short bursts of stuff. I think there are a couple.
I think that's a good gets me onto a game if it's got a good story. Like it's the trying to tell a story that's not just like shoot this, shoot that, or do this, do that.
I think it give me a reason to care is a phrase I use for that sort of stuff. there are some games that you play and you're like, but why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And if I don't care about the character that I'm playing or why or the reasons they've got to do things, then I'm just completely disengaged from it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think right now is the most beneficial hardware or software advancement in VR?
It's starting to show its face, but I think eye tracking
Mm-hmm.
more just for allowing you to get better performance from low spec PCs. That might bring more people into VR who can't maybe afford to upgrade the PC, but
Right.
want to do VR. If they could use foveated rendering and get a better performance out with lower specs, then it could bring more people in who maybe don't have the specs they need to get high quality VR at home on PC.
And also, I suppose, future. I mean, you were quite an early adopter for facial tracking and eye tracking, anyway, weren't you? Because of what we see in front of us now. So,
yeah, this is a bit more of a simple one. It's just like a standard. Because last time I tried to do it from inside, Resonated is now for someone's podcast. After about 10 minutes in, it just crapped the bed. My PC just crapped the bed. Like
oh, really?
The eye tracking stopped. I just froze. It's like, oh no. And then, well, I figured out what the problem was, but I didn't want to risk it again because I thought it's nothing worse getting so far in then stopping and starting again.
Yeah, sure. Again, there's a lot of people don't realize the amount of time and tech that goes into getting these things to work, and particularly, I mean, it's hard enough, I think, when you sort of live stream VR anyway, because that's another layer you've got to add in. But then you're adding in this extra layer of this persona that you've created and being with your Foxy boy, and that must take forever to get right.
Yeah, it's taught me stuff though. I taught putting things on in Unity and things like this, so it's taught me some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect to learn from it.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think eye tracking definitely for the foveated rendering being massive.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can see with what that does on the PSVR 2 when it's actually used. I mean, I think the best instance of seeing the difference of it with and without is when they added it to No Man's Sky. And it was kind of like, oh, that's what that does. And you really get to see it because we got to see it without beforehand. I think that's quite a good distinction.
Yeah.
So, what has been your proudest achievement during your VR journey?
It probably based around Avatar stuff, but I did some work for the BBC, recording avatars, and I think just like a internal training thing or an internal thing to show off to a client. So I did some work for them. Contacted me just through email, saying they'd seen my avatar on my Twitter. Like, we're really interested in that. Can we have a talk? And I spoke to the guy, and then he was like, if we give you some lines, can you just mouth them, and then we'll send me the audio to listen to, and then said if you can just like say them like in that way. So and we ended up getting together, and I did about 40 odd hours work for them because they were saying because they wanted the avatars creating on Ready Player Me that looked like the people that they were talking to, so they could transition to the avatar and stuff. And I was like, all right, okay, what else can we do? So that. So yeah, that's probably the biggest one. Getting involved.
I mean, you could have used that as something I didn't know about you as well.
I suppose so, yeah. Didn't come to mind.
But what you gave us is really good. I'm just saying that's something else that I wasn't aware of, that you did all that work for the BBC. That's quite a prestigious thing. That's pretty good. Okay. So that's all of our VR and gaming questions. We are 2/3 of the way through, Paul. Are we doing okay so far?
I hope so.
Good. So the last section, it's 10 questions that were created by a French journalist called Bernard Pivot, and they were used in a TV show a long time ago called Inside the Actors Studio. They're very simple questions with generally one-word answers, or you can expand on them if you want. Don't try and think about the answers too much. Just come out and say what pops into your head. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So we'll start off. What is your favourite word?
I'm even trying to think, and I do say I mean, I think it's a northern thing, but I do say like a lot. But I think that's just a northern. I don't know. Wouldn't say
I
it's my
do that
favorite
too,
word,
though.
but it's the one I probably it's the one I probably use the most.
Okay. In that case, what is your least favorite word?
Can't.
That's
hate them.
can't. CANT for anyone
Yeah.
who's listening.
Might come across different in my accent.
We're just checking. That may come up later.
I mean, I don't like that word, but yeah.
No,
I don't like the word
enough.
can't.
That's a good one to pick. I like that. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Music.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a
Music
big fan of live music, aren't you? You go to a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
Okay, what turns you off?
Negativity. Someone's
Negativity.
anyone or something that's negative. Just ugh.
Yeah, that's fair enough. What is your favourite curse word?
Don't really swear. I like. It's not really a curse word, but I like bollocks.
Okay, good. What sound or noise do you love?
I like a bird singing in the morning.
You're the second person to say bird song. That's good. What sound or noise do you hate?
My alarm clock.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, that's a good one. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
On my own, I'd like to digital graphic design.
Okay, cool. And what profession would you not like to attempt?
Probably working in McDonald's because you see how much stick they can get, and I feel like they've pushed a lot to be fast.
Yeah, I have worked in McDonald's when I was younger, and yeah, you're right. It's horrible. I would never do it again. And our final question for this session, Paul, is: if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Why are you here?
Is that's what you want to hear him say, or just what you think he would say? That's great. That's excellent, man. Cool. Well, there you go. That has been Behind the Headset. Paul, thank you very much for coming, and tell everyone where they can find you online.
Mainly I've put stuff on the VRLM.com where I do reviews, written reviews and things like that.
Yep.
When I can be bothered, I go live on Twitch. Well, the VRLM, not on Twitch, just, and then the VRLM on Twitter. And they're the main places you find me.
Excellent. Well, all of those links will be in the description below. And once again, thank you for coming on, Paul. I really appreciate it. And hopefully you can enjoy this and enjoy some of the next ones that we have coming out. For now, we'll say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.